Hello, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast. It's your boy Day.
And I'm David, and together we're no better than the iPad kids. This is Call Me Limbo. I have you taken a look at your screen time recently, Day?
I don't need that negativity in my life. No,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I need to
Yeah.
stop. Yeah, I need to stop.
Yeah.
I've been really chasing a lot of cheap, what some may call cheap dopamine
Hmm.
lately, where you just like a hard and quick, fast hit of something to make me happy. They usually say it's like junk food or a social media scroll. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like just everything considering in the world. And I was like, I got an alert on my phone the other day that was like, your average screen time this week was 7 hours. And that's just on my phone a day.
Hey,
And that's just on my phone. And I was like,
I'm trying to
how?
find.
Yeah, how?
I've
But
seen it pop up before, so now that I want to intentionally find it, I can't, which is crazy. But
yeah. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's I think the way you do it is like you open your phone and then you scroll all the way left to where where at least for me, it's like where the battery is, the stock market, and then if you scroll all the way down, there's like
oh,
your time, and then if you click on that, you can see the week. So anybody who's listening as well can check their
okay.
screen time as well. So today I'm at 2 hours and 21 minutes so far, but
Let me
and it
see.
tells you what apps you're spending the most time on.
Oh, is this my? This can't be daily. Total screen time. What?
It's a
It's
lot.
David. It
What?
says today alone. No, I refuse to believe it. It says my daily average this past week has been 13 hours and 22 minutes.
No
How was that
way.
even possible?
How Yeah. It's so easy to just get swept up. And I was like, I even have like limits set on my like TikTok and Instagram where like every 15 minutes it pops up and it's like, okay, 15 minutes have passed. And I usually just ignore it and then reset for another 15 minutes. And I was like, it just goes so fast.
Yeah.
So yeah. But no, I was like, I thank you for being willing to share
Oh,
that as well.
listen. So now you don't have to feel so bad because you're like almost
Yeah.
half of my screen time. So, and I listen to YouTube on like 1.5 speed. So,
That's probably why, though. I was like, I bet it's probably because you're doing other things, though, too.
no, but I'm like, if I have all that going and I'm still eating up that much time, I
Mm,
don't know. I don't
yeah.
think I can give myself the grace. What would you do with your time back? What would you do if you weren't on your phone?
This is something that I've been trying to talk about with, or that I've been talking about with friend of the podcast, friend of Phoebe Award winner, Caitlin, my therapist, that I was like, I'm trying to allow myself to experience boredom right now for the first time in a
Mm.
while because it's so easy to just go like, just, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm bored. I'm just going to like get on social media and just scroll for a little bit. And I was like, it's been really hard, like to just be like, I'm bored. What do I want to do? And I was like, I also like the last like week and a half that like because we recorded our interview with Natalie really early on in the week last week. So we haven't talked in a while, but like between that interview and now when we're recording today on Wednesday, May 13th in the year of our Lord 2026.
Oh,
And yes, I took a little bit of notes from past guest Eli Harwood, the attachment nerd, about how can I stay like knowing what's going on, but also like regulating my nervous system and just knowing what's going on, but not just being constantly bombarded with alerts. And so I started with turning off all of the notifications for social media. So like
mm,
when I log in, I was like, I get the notifications then when I log in. So I was like, I'm trying to be more mindful of like what I'm logging into to see instead of like getting a notification saying this person said this and then it prompting me to log into the app and then just sucking at my attention span. And then I also noticed last week, as Caitlin told me, I was like, she's right. I've just had a really tough month with like work stuff and just been like overwhelmed and just kind of like letting things stress me out. And she said to me, me in my therapy notebook, quote, I bet this has been a really great exercise in self exploration, even if it might not feel like it right now. And that was
Very nice way.
helpful. Helpful. So when I saw her this week, I said, I just want you to know that you've been living rent free in my mind all week. And anytime something difficult comes up and I'm feeling all of my feelings around it, I tell myself that this is probably a great exercise in self exploration. And so she just laughed.
Turns
But
out that way.
yes, but I also turned off my news notifications and
Really?
I turned them off on my lock screen. And so like when I wake up in the mornings now, like and I go to reach for my phone because my alarm is also my phone, I'm not like waking up to, oh, Israel just bombed Lebanon. Oh, Israel killed how many people? Oh, there was a mass shooting here. Oh, the hantavirus. Like
The Honka sales
all of
there.
the
Honka
it's
Honka
always
Honka.
something.
Yes.
It's always something. And so I was like, I I can't wake up to this every day. I can't start my day off like this. And so I shut off the lock notification. So it's like I can go in and see them in my like notification center if I open up my phone and then like scroll through. And that's also just been really helping me sort of like regulate how I'm like approaching my phone. And now I'm also just kind of gotten to the point where I was like, I I need to get a jitterbug. Like those I think that's what they call the old folks phones that don't have any like notifications on them. Have you heard of these? The jitterbug?
It just makes me think I have heard of it, but I didn't realize that that's what they call them. Let me see. Yes, first thing jitterbug phone for seniors. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking this.
So
Oh, it really does look like a little jitterbug too.
yeah, I even also thought about I was like, God, should I just go back to getting a home phone number?
No,
I
friends do
no.
not let friends get home phone numbers. Not in
Yeah,
2026.
yeah. So I don't know. I
I
was
say
like,
that
I've
like I
really
don't know my home phone number growing up by heart still. So
same. Oh yeah, same. It's one of the few phone numbers I have memorized. But like my parents don't even have a home phone number anymore.
really, see, mine still have one.
Do they?
Hmm. They still
Okay.
use the house phone sometimes.
Okay.
They've definitely transitioned more to the phone, their cell phones. But like my grandpa, he'll just like leave his cell phone places because he just doesn't think about it as much. So
That
my
sounds so
grandmother, she definitely uses hers. Like she's pretty hip on it, but he'll like leave it in the car, like just random things. It'll be downstairs. He's like, oh yeah, I'll get it. But he'll stay
huh.
on his like people will call him on the house phone.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds so freeing to just be
Yeah,
able to go navigate the world. I should really leave my phone at home more often, but I also like
you
it's
never know
such
when you'll need
a
it.
it's such a like this is probably ableist language, but like it's such a crutch
Yeah,
for
and a
me.
safety device. Like honestly, it's
Yeah.
you never know, God forbid, what could be happening. So it's like, yeah, you might need it. For me, my friend got me a Fitbit for my
Hmm.
birthday, and that is actually much to my surprise. I was like, "Why do people get these little watches and stuff?" It actually's been great. I've been hitting my step
I
goals
like it.
all week. Like, I've
Okay.
been averaging the most steps I've ever averaged. The most steps I've averaged consistently probably in over a year. So that's been kinda nice.
Great.
But I don't okay, so this is my thing about turning off notifications. So there are certain ones I don't have the notifications for. Like, I don't have Instagram on my as a notification, which is probably why my inbox is full. But
Sure.
I my ADHD, David, like I don't remember to check stuff. Like
Yeah.
I'm already bad at texting. Like I have over 3,000 text messages. No, almost
Really?
5,000 text messages.
No
No,
way.
3,100 text messages. I don't because and it's not intentional. It's because if it's not, like, right there at the
Yeah.
top, I'll just, like, forget, or I'll say, "Ooh, so and so text me. Let me not open it because I don't wanna forget." And then I'll get 5 more, and then it's at the bottom and I don't see it. So,
Huh.
I'm really bad. So, like, there are certain apps that I'm like, I don't think about, like, if I'm doing work stuff and it's, like, on a group me or something, I don't think about that app. So,
Yeah.
if I don't have the alert, hell, with the alert, I still be forgetting. So, it's like, if I didn't have the alert, then I would
Yeah.
never check it. It'd be, like, 3 days later, and I'm like, I went
Yeah.
to buy this is to show you how bad it gets.
Okay.
Ariana Grande announced her album, her new album, Petals, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's doing signed vinyl." And I was like, "Oh, it'd be so cool to have an Ariana signed vinyl." I pulled over my car to buy the signed vinyl. Somehow in me pulling over my car, I get out the car, I go get ice cream, I get back in the car, I come home, I shower, all the things, and then randomly remember that I was stopping the car to go buy the album, and by the time I get to go there, David, it was sold out. That shows you
No!
yes, I was heartbroken because I said, "What did I even do?" It was as if, like, time lapsed and I had no idea what happened because I kept thinking, "How did I forget? Like, I pulled over to do this. What
Yeah.
happened?" And I don't know. That's how bad it gets. So, for me, it's like
Goodness.
if I don't
I've been
stop
trying to
everything I'm
forget
doing
more things lately. I've been
oh,
unsubscribing, I've been stopping text message I was like, I've been trying to, like, have fewer inputs. But if Ariana Grande, if you're listening to this, or if you know Ariana Grande and you're listening to this, please send this to her so that they can get an autographed vinyl from
I just
her.
want listen, I'll pay, I just wanted to get my copy because I
Yeah.
don't understand how I felt like, ugh, it's still sensitive for me, but I just feel like I don't know, I'm in awe of people who don't have social media or people who take social media detoxes. I think
Mhm.
for us, it's a little more challenging because part of what we do requires that we're abreast on the things that are happening online, and even then,
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm missing stuff. Like, you exist on a whole different plane of the internet for me, and I love
Yeah.
that because it keeps me up to date about what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, my
Yeah.
timeline is about Lil Kim's "Not Tonight" verse when it's like, "Moral of the story is this, if you ain't hitting this, if you ain't sticking this, licking this, you ain't hitting it," and I'm just like, "This is bringing me joy."
Nice. And I'm on the Young Miami
Yes.
algorithm. So,
Spin it,
yeah,
spin that. Yes.
I love that song.
I'm
Oh,
upset
I
it's
love
not in
that
my
song.
algorithm yet, but I love that song too.
How? It pops up like every 3 scrolls for me of someone else dancing to it. I was like, I also just have it basically on a loop. Like before we
Oh,
started recording, I had it playing in the background. It's so
nope,
I'll put a
I have
link to
not
the
gotten it.
I'll put a link to the YouTube video, music
Because I
video
don't
in
have
the
TikTok though anymore. That's probably the thing. So I have to often watch your
What?
video. It kept giving me issues signing in, and then I just gave up. So I have
Oh,
to like if it doesn't play in the web, like the mobile web version, I
mhm.
normally can't play it. But
Wow.
Instagram, my reels tend to know me a little too well. So
Okay. Well, I guess you know the trends on Instagram and I
yeah,
keep up.
that's really great. Like honestly, millennial mayhem. You keep the Gen
Nice.
Z, you stay abreast on the Gen Zs. I stay abreast on the millennials on Instagram because I
Yes.
feel like it's two different worlds. What is happening on the interwebs of TikTok? What has been going on? I genuinely don't know.
They've been talking a lot of Lego news. Do you get them?
Why? What are they talking about Legos for?
Do you know Lego news? Oh no. So it's the Iran videos. It's the Iran videos that are like narrated through like Lego figures. And
I
so they just
just
call
heard
it
about this,
Lego
but I've
news.
never seen it.
Ever.
No,
Oh my gosh,
but I
I
did
get most
hear
of my
about it.
news from Lego news now. Like I always say, Day, I get almost all my
Ah,
news now from Lego news.
Legoland.
Yeah, from the songs that they're creating. It's such good
Oh, it's a whole
propaganda. Oh,
production?
oh yeah.
Is it
I
good?
think it's put out by like Iran, like state
I mean,
media or
yeah.
something like that. And it's just like distributed it through like different platforms. And it's so good. And they're just like songs about like how Donald Trump is a pedophile, allegedly. And yeah, they're so good. And like what's going on and how like our gas prices are just like continuing to go up because of this stupid war. that we're trying to commit, and so, yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Oh, it's good.
jealous.
I so that's the other that, Carisha, Young Miami, the Hantavirus cruise, but also people are saying that it's like a cover up for like the Disney cruise, where supposedly like 28 people, I think, were recently arrested for like child sex crime stuff. Yeah. And so it's like it's kind of been covered up. Like I haven't really seen a whole lot of like media coverage there. That what else? Catching Print. Are you familiar with Catching Print?
Oh, listen, absolutely. I didn't know they were still catching it over there, but
Mhm.
I did see that video made its way over to
Okay.
Instagram, so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the
Mhm.
discourse that
Yes.
was sparked from such a video.
Yes. So, yeah. What are they saying on Instagram? What are you
Honestly, I was
getting?
like, "Oh my gosh, what are people saying?" So I have been following this one guy who talks about let me see if I can find his name and want to add a video. I love him. He takes, I'm very churchy. So I love good church humor. And this one guy has been like taking gospel songs and he talks about how they're really actually anointed. And his name is,
Uh-huh.
is Bobby on Purpose on Instagram, but he did one about Nuck If You Buck. And he'll start using Bible verses to say, like, he was like, that song is not about fighting. He says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. It's anointed. Because listen, in Ephesians, blah, 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 it says that man has to be prepared to fight for war and blah, blah, blah. So he always connects it to the Bible. And it's truly some of my favorite good ghetto foolishness on the internet. I would say I do have a lot of there's this viral clip of this college graduate person going viral saying that
Mhm.
I got my degree. The only time that y'all hoes got a degree is when you putting a deodorant under your arms. And so people have been using that voice, like the voice to dub over their own. Um, Admittedly, friend, what I've been noticing on Instagram, there's a lot more, dare I say it, dick on Instagram. And
Well,
it's been
maybe I need to
surprising
change
me because I'm just like,
platforms.
I just don't understand how it's getting like, I'm not a prude. Like, I don't really, it's not that big of a deal. But like, I just noticed that people like, I'm like, oh, their whole dick is out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Wow. Okay. I'm just kind of shocked by like how the
Mhm.
senses are easing up.
Yeah.
Um, you kind of need to protect yourself. Even if you're outside, you can't even open your phone good. You got to watch to your left and your right. So, oh, I will say my favorite thing on the internet this week, though, I'm going to do the censored version. But
Okay.
essentially, this young lady, I'm sorry I can't give you credit, where she said, it's time. She said, it's time to stop giving men the benefit of the doubt and to start doubting the benefit of these men. And I have
Ooh.
never felt so seen in my life. I said, yes, that's exactly what we need to do. And
Yeah.
in that process, I closed a lot of my bookings on people. Like I had to go ahead and wrap it up. I said, I got to stop giving you the benefit of the doubt. And so then every day I call my friend crying. I'd be like, friend, they still out here giving men the benefit of the doubt instead of doubting the benefit of these men. They're not listening. They're not listening. And I'm tired. Like I just said, imagine putting your trust in a man in 2026. What's wrong with
Mhm.
you? Learn from this.
Have you reached the
Collecting.
point of choosing the bear as well?
Oh, the bear and I, we have
Mhm.
plans at this point. We've talked this out. I said, you stay on that side. I'll stay on this side. I'm
Yeah.
trying to be hopeful, but every day I'm just like, mm-mm,
It's harder and harder
mm-mm.
to find the hope. Yeah. No, that's the thing. That video of ours that's done really well on Instagram, like, people in the comments are just like, "Men are not lonely enough."
Listen,
I think that's
yes.
really neat. And I'm like, "The male loneliness epidemic is self-inflicted." That's what I just keep commenting.
And it's funny because there's been this conversation lately politically because they were talking about how the jobs that are traditionally occupied by men have really they've seen a huge decrease. Like they're not keeping up with say like traditionally female jobs, like in health. Like right now, the biggest job sectors are like healthcare, especially like
Mhm.
nursing, doctors, etc. But we see, especially with the nursing community, there's a social stigma where often they're female nurses. Of course, there are male nurses, but it's like saying that, so Trump is losing a lot, or people are questioning, their whole alignment with him because he really sold himself as like the bro and gonna really help with men and all that type of nonsense. And no, they're actually getting screwed over. And I'm like, I don't negate that there are genuine issues that we see happening. Um, in the male community and a realignment of understanding values and jobs and all those things. It just doesn't excuse you from choosing to be a terrible person or doing, or nor does it protect you to want to uphold terrible systems. I think it's very important that we work culturally to not just elevate previously marginalized groups, but to also help the transition and as the transfer of power, women are getting degrees at higher rates. They're earning more than a lot of their male counterparts, and that's fine. If we also help men transition into thinking that their value is their economic output versus we're not shaming men who make less than their partner. We are celebrating men getting into fields that like more service-based fields or home health care, things that were traditionally not seen as quote unquote masculine. I have an issue when people shame men for doing those jobs and things like that. But that requires nuance. And people ain't seen new or aunts since the 1990s.
Mm, mhm.
I don't even know what that means, to be honest,
I don't
but it came
either.
out. It's just what it is. Like, I don't know. That's my meds are wearing off at this point, Joe. I've had to
Mm.
get up at 6:30 every day, y'all. I'm tired.
Oh! Oh,
It's
that sounds awful.
egregious. It's egregious.
Oh, that sounds terrible. That
Jesus
sounds
doesn't even want to have to
terrible.
be up that early.
No, he probably
Ugh,
isn't.
listen,
Why are
them,
you
them
waking up
crows be like,
before
cockle
Jesus?
doodle doo yourself, ho. Have you ever just been up in the middle of the night or waking up early and you're like, oh, wow, this is what this is like?
Yeah.
Don't like it. Don't like
Yeah.
it.
To quote Teresa Giudice's daughter, waking up in the morning, think about so many things. Yeah, I just wish things would get better. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but no,
Yes.
that made me think too. Is like when I went to Eli Harwood's book signing here a couple of weeks ago, which was so much fun. I was like, I've known Eli. I think I've talked about this, but I was like, she talked about. I can't remember if we've talked about this or not, but I was like, she talked about how responsibility should really be two words: response and ability.
Mm.
And I was like, ooh, I really like that. Just like being able to like, yeah, respond to other people's needs and like our ability at doing so and how we can always like kind of get better at that. So, you know.
I like that.
Mhm.
Shout out to Eli. I think, did you post them? I know I've seen the pictures. I don't know if you posted them on the page, but
I don't
we'll
know if
definitely
I
have to
did
let
or
the
not.
people see. Friend,
Yes.
former guest on the show, Eli Hardwood, aka the Attachment Nerd, doing great
Yes.
work and ensuring that the people are blessed. And so, yeah, super happy David got to hang out in person. Was that your first
Yeah.
time meeting her in person or no?
In real life, yeah.
In real life, it was. Okay.
In real life, yeah. But I've known her for
That's
like
so
5,
cool.
6 So yeah.
Isn't it crazy how
Future
social
friend of
media?
Phoebe Award, future
Yes.
friend of Phoebe Award winner,
Yeah.
formally,
Yeah.
because we always
It's
like
crazy
to
how you
keep
have
our
these social,
relations.
parasocial relationships with people and then you
Mhm.
meet them. Like, there are so many people I have yet to meet that I've been social media friends with for forever. There are friends that I did meet in real life and like even us, like I've
Yeah,
known you for over 10 years now, which is crazy.
I
Started in the
know.
sandbox. And then now it's like more of our time has been digital communication than in person now, which was different. Of course, when we first met, we did live in a
Well, we
closer
worked
area.
together,
Yeah, we
yeah.
worked together. But it's like, it's crazy to think how you go such long periods not meeting a person in real life and
I
then
know.
finally get to meet them. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I This was something else that I was talking about in therapy this week because I ran in last week. I went to the library, which is Denver has the best libraries. Like the Denver public library system is so great. And I was like, I've probably mentioned it before, but you get 100 free printing, like printing pages. You can print 100 pages a day in black and white or color for free at the libraries,
A
which I was like,
day?
it's a day. So I was like, that's what I want my tax dollars going to. But I went to the library to do some work, and you can rent study rooms and all this stuff. It's great. But I ran into someone. I walked in, and this person, this has been happening to me a lot lately. This person walked in, local celebrity, they call me. And I walked into the library, and this person goes, David? And I said, yeah. And she had a mask on, so it was kind of hard to tell who she goes, it's so and so. She said her name. And I said, oh my gosh, hi. And this is like a client that I've been working with for like a few months now. And I was like, what are you doing up here? I was like, you don't live around here. And she's like, oh, my daughter goes to school over here. And I said, oh my gosh, that's so funny. And so like we hugged, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And so like I told Caitlin, therapist, I said, I said, these interactions that I've been having, meeting people in real life lately who I've only ever known online, it's making it a lot harder for me to justify that these people online are just AI. They're not real. So, like, if I were to make a mistake per se on something, there's no real impact because they're not real, because I don't know them in real life. And now I'm sitting with accountability, which is a new feeling for me.
How is that
I
feel?
don't
Because
like it.
I don't think we've ever fully discussed you having that distinction. It feels like a nice protective mechanism. So
It
what
is.
is that feel? What is that like as it's kind of deconstructing?
It is. Like when I'm doing work, I like kind of break it up between like, okay, I'm going to do computer work and I'm going to do like versus like real life work. Like, oh, this is a computer problem versus a like real life problem. And for me, it's just a way to like separate the two because I was like, for me, I was like, it is so easy for me to just get wrapped up. And I see it on my phone, like where I'm like, oh my God, there's so much stimulus or stimuli coming at me and inputs that I'm trying to like minimize those. And so like I just tell myself a lot of times, like, these are just numbers. This is just a person, like, this is just a name on a screen. These are just words. Like, I assign the meaning. Like, and so it's like, because I've just been so activated lately. So I really do have to almost like remove any sort of like feeling from it, which is strange for me because I generally have pretty strong reactions to things. When I have an opinion, it's generally a strong one. When I have a feeling, it's generally a strong one. And so for like me to just kind of take a step back and be like, oh, well, they're not real. Like I'm never probably going to meet these people in real life. So like what does it matter? And I'm like,
It's like,
it
hold my
matters.
beer.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know, it's like it's just been I think this kind of also aligns with just like what am I prioritizing right now in my life and like what feels like it's important? Because to me, I was like, and I know that it feels important to a lot of people and there can be quote unquote consequences, but like tax things, like people are like, oh, I got a notice in the mail from like a tax agency. And I was like, okay, those are just words on a piece of paper. Like we can take action on it, but like it's just a piece of paper. Like I was like, it's not that big of a deal. And so like because like so much of what I do is not life or death. It's just like it's math. And that's really all it is. And so I was like, I don't know. And it's also really hard for me to like get it up or care about taxes really anyway. I love talking about reducing your legal tax liability. Uh yes, as the way they say it. No, it's not tax evasion because that's illegal supposedly. That's not
For
legal.
the
But
common person, it is.
yeah,
Not for
correct.
the
But
elites.
reducing your legal tax liability, that's okay because we talked about this before where I was like it's really hard to maintain ethics and morals in an amoral and ethical system. And so I just like why am I caring about taxes? Why am I caring about funding the ongoing genocides? I don't want to. And so it's like it's just easier to avoid and just like do it later. And so I was like, for me, I was like, my sense of urgency, I don't know, it doesn't really exist much anymore. I was like, I don't, I've just kind of stopped having expectations as well. And that's honestly, it's made for more enjoyment. Like I went to a show on Tuesday night at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts called English, and it was excellent, and it was about this these folks in Iran learning English as a second language. And oh my god, the acting was great, the stage design was great, like, and then afterward they had what they call an audience talk back, and I've stayed for many of
I love a
those where the
talk back.
actors, yeah, it's really interesting. And I was like, I really liked that, like, most of the time it's audience members asking the actors, like, "Oh, tell me about your process," like, "Oh, what was it like and when this happened?" But this one was so interesting. There were so many Iranians in the audience, and there were a lot of immigrants as well talking about their own personal experiences learning the English language or finding like place, like where they're like, okay, they were too American to feel like they belonged in Iran, but they were too Iranian to feel like they belonged in the United States. And so like, where is that like, and how it feels very empty inside and very lonely and kind of that like caught in the middle place. And so like it was so interesting because so many people just wanted to share their own stories with the actors. And it was a beautiful moment of community and of humanity. And that to me is like the kind of stuff that I've just been trying to prioritize lately, where I was just like, I can get so jaded about the state of the world and about the the ballroom and whatever catastrophe Donald Trump is creating next. And I was like, I've said before, I wish he was dead. I wish he died. Like I don't want him. I think the world will be better off once he is gone. And I also like for me, I can in my mind make him dead. Where I'm like, I don't pay attention to him. I don't give him airtime. I don't pay attention to what he says because he does not represent me. And so I've taken steps in order to minimize that input because it's activating to me. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing.
Yeah, I find that interesting too because we talked about it, I think, a little bit where I was like, I don't necessarily align in that, like, wishing that he was gone per se yet. I don't know if that's where my brain is at. But I had
Yeah.
this conversation with some people, other people, because I was very curious how people were feeling. And there are a lot of people who share that sentiment. But what I find hypocritical is that I said, I do find it interesting to people I talk to who are so quick to justify the murder of Palestinians, the murder
Mhm.
of the Iranian government leaders, the people who are also, in other countries where we just deem them as terrorists, how easy it is for them to say, well, that's justified. They're doing this to their people. But then they don't keep that same energy when it comes to our leadership and what our leadership is inflicting on their people. So I found that very interesting. I think, like, to be honest, I think for me, that's probably partially why I struggle because I'd have to be consistent. And while I do wish that people were held accountable for their crimes, and I don't like and pain being inflicted, I think it's that, and I don't actually see his transition as a net positive while he's still in office because the people lining the bench are just as egregious, if not more. Because I don't think they would be like when I think about George W. Bush and Reagan and these other people, I think part of what made them effective is they didn't. It's kind of like you said, back in the it felt like for a while, presidents were just in the background doing work. Trump, because he's a celebrity, he celebrified the office, and it's like,
Yeah.
you actually can be more insidious when you're just secretly doing all the terrible things. Like, if he didn't make it so buffoonish, I felt like he'd be even worse, which is hard to imagine given all the horrible things he's done. But sometimes that openness, like, I mean, he literally said, "I don't think about the American people when I'm making these negotiations. I just care about so and so not having nuclear weapons, which is crazy given that y'all told us last year that they got rid of their nuclear weapons, that you got rid of their ability to do it. And then you magically kept saying it was an imminent threat, which you've been saying for decades, but no evidence pointing to that because it's BS. Nevertheless, I do find it interesting that I don't feel like I would find a sense of relief because I do think he's an egregious person. I think he's horrible for the country. I think what he's done I think what he has uncovered, because I believe it was there, what he's uncovered and allowed to take residence in quote unquote polite society is absolutely abhorrent. And I fear that even when he's gone, there are people who really like Donald Trump to me isn't actually committed to certain ideologies that he has allowed to cling to his movement. I just don't think he cares much about outside himself and his own legacy. But like Stephen Miller's of the world, your JD Vances, your Peter Thiel's, like these people actually have an ideological commitment to a world that is by default exclusionary. And that scares me more than anything, I think. That what does that look like when you don't have a person at the helm who is buffoonish and you actually have people who can competently, I mean, look what's happening. We talked about Virginia, like the Supreme Court came in after this win and was like, no, can't do it because of timing. And
The
what I did find
electoral
interesting,
redistricting win, correct?
huh?
The redistricting win,
Yes, the
people voted on.
referendum. And it's been so fascinating to watch people so angry because, we watch these other conservative states literally run through checks and balances like Tomb Raiders. I was actually really shocked. I don't know if they're going to do it and I have to follow up. Like, it was alleged that they were going to make it so that they lowered the retirement age for these judges to wipe them out and then put in people who are more amenable to the administration in an effort to actually get the redistricting passed. And I said, if Democrats did that move,
Yeah.
I would have to go ahead and give it to them. I'd be like, okay, they really come, they know ball. I
Yeah.
said, because that's a level of aggressive fighting we have not seen. I mean, doing the redistricting the way that they did it and how they went all out, I will give them credit because I did not expect them to really push for this. But if they were to really come through and say, oh, you want to play in our face like that, they might have, listen, I might get out there and I might actually campaign for somebody because that's a level of fight that we've been missing. Republicans use power to abuse power for abhorrent ends. I'm ready to see what it looks like to use power to make people's lives better. Like I look at all the great things that Zoran Mandani is doing. Like that's why I think it's so interesting. To me, simping for billionaires is like bottom tier behavior. So like when I see people just parroting these rich people talking points, or like watching, now billionaires are saying tax the rich is like an equivalent to a slur. I'm like, if y'all don't go bounce
Oh,
on a
give me a
porcupine,
break.
like y'all are some of the softest mealy mouth people I've ever met in my life. You destroy the world and then want to cry wolf when people point it out. Nevertheless, it's amazing to watch what it looks like when someone who shares my politics actually gets not just gets the reins of power, because there are other people who I would probably agree with on a lot, but they don't understand how to wield the power and they're not as just dialed in and laser focused the way that Zoran and his administration have been. So it's really nice. And it makes me almost want to move to New York. But I don't like rats. So sorry.
New York stinks. Like, and it's loud. Like, it's
I
yeah.
could deal with the volume. I couldn't deal with the rats. Like people don't understand. Like them rats live there. Like that's their home. And I don't wanna who am I to come in and tell them what to do? So I can't do it. And like, even though I did hear they did a massive subway cleaning and things like that, which I think is beautiful. I don't like rats. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's all right. Yeah. Well, before we wrap up, we wanted to also acknowledge the passing of Jason Collins, who was the first openly gay basketball player in the NBA, I believe, who died of brain cancer at age 47. So thank you to Jason for being a trailblazer in living an authentic life and living your truth and showing that you can still be an athlete and be gay, that it doesn't really matter who you love. But yeah, and thanks to all of our like
Yeah.
trailblazers as we're starting to approach Pride Month in
Happy gay.
June. Happy Gay Month
It's coming
early.
up.
Yes. And hold me accountable to this because I've been working on an ad idea for quite a while and I just need to finish it. So, and it's perfect.
Yay.
So please hold me accountable to this. You and listeners both.
Got you.
So, yes.
Yes, but shout out to Jason Collins. I truly was saddened by that. I remember him coming out, and I remember how it felt to see like, oh wow, like an athlete, a quote unquote man's man. Like it's not that you always need that type of I know from my friends who might skew on the more straight passing spectrum, sometimes they don't see themselves represented and they feel like people expect a certain type of performative homosexuality. That's it's probably gonna sound problematic to some people, but if you those who get it, where it's like they don't see themselves represented in their interests. And so
Mhm.
Jason coming from a sports world where we know there are a lot of homophobia and toxic masculinity that can be in those locker rooms, et cetera. Like I played sports growing up. I know what guys can be like. And so to have somebody open up authentically and to just be themselves and just treated it like it's part of them, but it's not all of them, and that but they deserve to be loved and to live authentically the way any of their counterparts do. I don't know. I have so much respect for them. And I just think the way that it ended is so tragic. And it just speaks to, our need to really continue work to eradicate these cancers and illnesses. And yeah, my heart goes out. Like a brain cancer is so young. This
Yeah.
just it shows you that death doesn't care about class, and so after a while, it will circumvent your class as well. So I just want to send my condolences to his family. Much love to him and his legacy, and I pray that we remember him fondly, and remember him and his contributions for sure. Thank you, Jason.
Agreed. Yes, agreed. So, well, if you enjoyed this episode, feel free to rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the platform where you listen. Get in touch with us at Call Me Limbo Pod on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads, or send us an email at callmelimbopod@gmail.com. Go subscribe to our Substack, callmelimbopod.substack.com. And go become a Patreon member. We are in the midst of spring subscription season and we need your financial support. So there are 3 levels that you can contribute at. Get early access to the episodes, the full video episodes, monthly wandering thoughts from me, and
Occasional
the
article from me. I'm gonna get better, y'all.
that's okay. And also like just the satisfaction of knowing that you are contributing to this community. So,
Yes. Thank you.
yes.
Thank you. And
Yeah, so
thank you.
you can become a Patreon member at patreon.com/callmelimbopod. Go to the website. They'll charge you less because
Yes.
Apple takes 30% if you do it through the app. Or you can send one-time contributions on Venmo and Cash App. And, Day, it's like I'm always wondering, boosting bitches, where y'all at? Put in your bag? I'm always wondering that. You've
I
probably
wish
heard me
I could just
wondering a
add
time
the
or two.
sound clip at the end of this of Young Miami. That was good. Shout out Go Stream Spend That by Young Miami. Judge Your Mama and her edges, or lack thereof. Love y'all. Thank you
It's
so
so
much.
good.
Keep watching the show and remember when they go low,
We limit our screen time.
so call
Sure, call
me
me Limbo.
Limbo.
Goodbye.